Number one, not falling for it this time. And Joe, we do have to point out Xpeke not running teleport, so if we do see Rise teleport out, Lux is going to have a really hard time keeping up with them.
Yeah, and let's not forget here that Jims is actually a substitute for this event for them. I'll get onto that in a little while because we can see that Fnatic are making somewhat of a mark as we see the fallback pings already coming down. But, Jason, can we expect anything? Should we expect anything here at level 1?
Oh, it looks like Giants, they want to go for Invade. They have a pretty strong team. You have Ash with that almost guaranteed crit, depending how far into the game you are. Rise, Rune Prison, you could have Cocoon out of Morden. Samix, which just pretty good, decent damage overall. And then Mabetta with the slow or the Blood Boil. It looks like we are seeing pretty much just counter invade here. Both teams going for this blue buff. And I wouldn't be surprised if both teams just take it and back off.
And this is a game that they've got a little bit more security. They probably can afford and probably will risk a little bit more in this because they're the two winners so far of the group, which means that even if they lose this one, it's still not over for them. They've still got a chance, and they'll put a bit more on the line, I think, to get that second win and to be qualified without having to play a third game here tonight. But we can see that Fnatic are currently waiting by that blue buff. Over on the other side of the map, Giants are actually just protecting their red. They may go for that late invade. The funny thing is they've not seen Fnatic here. They've not got a ward in any position that will have spotted this early game invade out of them, so they won't know. Yes, they might have a sniff that Fnatic are there, but they won't know for sure until they go over those wards.
Yeah, overall invade working out quite well for them, and curious who they're going to give this a blue to, if they're actually going to steal it and take it to the jungler, or maybe give it to Xpeke, just to have a little bit of advantage against Rise in the mid lane. Rise obviously going to be a lot stronger than Lux, but if you can just deny him even more early on, it's going to help benefit you the rest of the game.
Demon is an avid Lee Sin hater when it comes to playing games himself. Not happy about that. So let's break things down a little bit more then. Bottom lane going to be Caitlyn Lulu against Wukong here for the start. Silence probably going to have a few issues in this lane.
Yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, you really can't afford to fall behind on a Wukong, but once you pop that ultimate, actually in the meantime, we are seeing a lot of action happening over towards this blue buff here out of Giants.
Yeah, they're looking for the counter invade. They want to take this blue buff away and actually will manage to do that there. At least the smite was used. Yeah, it's going to be at least that actually took that one away. Just looking for the buffers. Xpeke and Exterminar actually just binding each other up there, not able to move around. But that is this middle lane. Jason, your thoughts? Lux versus Rise?
I don't really think either of them should be able to push each other lane, at least until level 6, where they start getting a couple of items, because you have, Rise going support mastery. He has the Biscuit, he has the Crystalline Flask, he has even his Fairy Charm for extra mana regen. Other side, you have, Xpeke with 3 health pots, 1 mana pot, and the Fairy Charm. They don't really have the burst yet to do anything, and when Rise starts to be a little bit tanky, it's gonna pretty much be impossible for Xpeke to burst him down unless you see the jungler come in.
And of course it was Cyanide in the last game that really made the impact coming from the jungle on this Olaf. We'll see how he does this time around as he finally gets himself double buffed up. We can see Morden there just waiting in this bottom lane to try and get any gank off, or maybe just ward off any kind of 3-man gank onto this bottom lane, which we've seen at Intel Extreme Masters Katowice and also before that even at IPL.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to actually not see a gank come out of Morden into the top lane. Yeah, he was kind of swatted leaving that blue buff, but he could have snuck back in there and went for that 3-man dive on the top lane, which is what you kind of not need, but you expect to see. And I guess that expectation of it happening might be one thing that's hindering from doing it.
Yeah, and I mean that blue ward, if we just go a little bit south from here, is actually not in the river, it's on the ledge as far as I can see. Oh no, it is, okay, so it's actually dropped down on the other side there, so I think would have spotted him either way coming through onto that one. Obviously top lane then, Ashe Nunu versus Soaz on Lee Sin. We know how strong Soaz is with that Lee Sin, but how is he going to do in this 2v1 lane?
Well, at the moment, he's not doing too well. Currently, his counterpart at the bottom lane, the turret's already down to half-life. His turret sitting at, about 75% life. He has about equal farm as Wukong, but, Lee Sin, he's one of those early game kind of champions, and if you don't necessarily have a strong early game, he still can be extremely strong later on, just with his disruptiveness from his ultimate. We do see again coming in the mid lane, though.
Here we go then, and we are going to see them move in here. It's Morden looking for that first blood. Can he get down and finish off? Yes, he can. Nicely worked, and the great thing that they landed was the Rune Prism plus the Cocoon was landed there. Lux had to use that cleanse that she had, which obviously wasn't quite enough, and we've seen Fnatic, as a result of that, taking down the bottom turret.
And now because she has no flash, no cleanse up, she's so susceptible to ganks from this Rise, from this Elise. There's so much CC to lock her down, and that's kind of one thing you don't really see happen too much anymore, is having such strong CC-heavy lanes. I mean, top you have the Asher, Wukong, you have the Cyclone to knock him up, mid lane you have the Rune Prison, so Elise pretty much has free reign over this to just gank any lane he wants to. However, we did see the first turret of the game go down in this bottom lane, and that does leave Samix alone to pretty much just free farm if he wants to in this bottom.
And we'll see how Soaz can continue to hold this one. About a third of that turret HP remaining, and as you'd expect, turret down in the bottom, that means a rotation of the lanes. In fact, we could see a big four-man gank onto this top lane. There's not currently a ward to stop. As I say that, Nunu goes in there and sticks himself a ward down. That was obviously going to happen. But we are going to see them pushing in now. Jimbone's already taking a good amount of damage. The Ignite is down. Barrier is going to be used here by Jimbones. Here comes Cyanide from the side. Bavetta going to be the obvious target. The Q lands from Lee Sin. Can they finish? Yes, they can. Soaz brings us back to 1-1.
And that was a really well timed out of Soaz to know how much damage he could actually take against this combo and stay alive long enough. We saw Narrated come in from the lane, got the actually missed the glare because of the flash, but either way, they had Bavetta pretty much corner off all to themselves, and now they're going to be making a hard push on this top turret, and after getting that bottom one, this would be a really nice gold increase for them, and it really gives them a lot of control into the map, because then they can focus on this middle lane. Yeah,
this would be a massive win from Fnatic if they can take down this top turret after picking up that kill there. Sadly for them, those minions going to be going down, but you can see how fast they're able to strip the oppositions, and well, there's only about 5 or 6 hit between them left on this turret, and that is going to be picked off here, and Fnatic are going to make it 2 turrets to 0. There is the final spark coming out. You scared me, Jason. That's why I was like, oh, okay, it's not that low, but still good damage coming out, and that's the great thing about the final spark, or Finalis Funker, as I still want to call it every time. You know, it's a fantastic spell that's not got much cooldown, as Bavetta here in trouble. He's just come back into the lane. Not sure exactly how that all went down, but, well, he should have reacted faster to it. I'm not sure why they got caught out there again.
He actually went in for a face check, not expecting 3 members of Fnatic to be up there, because he just got the turret. You know, you expect them to back out, buy up, and maybe go back to lanes. Face check, end up paying the price for it, and that is another death for him. Not a good start. Fnatic now with 2 turrets, 10.8 thousand gold to 8.9, Joe, and with a team like Fnatic so experienced, they can take this lead and just take it through them with them the rest of the game.
Blue buff is up now on the Giant side. Red buff has just been taken by Elise Samux. Just went across to check that blue buff was still there available. And obviously Fnatic, after that initial steal, will have the timing down on when this blue buff is going to be coming back into action, as we see Soaz going diving in there on towards Samuk, and Samuk, he's going to have to utilize that decoy as much as he can here to keep himself from taking too much damage. We can now see Olaf as well headed up towards that blue. He's just pinged down to Lee Sin to tell him, okay, we're going to make a move for this one. Wards are going down in that corner bush, and I think it's a case of him trying to push this wave out as much as he can to stop Samuk being in that general area.
Yeah, this would be such a great play for Fnatic if they can pull this off. Really just have that blue buff away from Rise, which is so key for him to have. We do see Morden though coming in for a gank on a Soaz.
And there's a teleport coming in from Extermin. They've locked Soaz down, or have they? He's Lee Sin after all. He manages to get somewhat away, but not enough to finish off, and that will be a kill. But for that, Fnatic have decided, okay, we've got 3 men here in that middle lane. Yes, Giants are going to be taking their own blue buff, but how much damage can we do to this middle turret with the Olaf there, with the Caitlyn and the Lulu? The Giants know that, and they've come over to try and stop this all happening.
And we do have Nunu coming in from the top side. And one thing I actually really like out of this kind of what we're seeing at Fnatic is that you have the Lee Sin and the Wukong pick, and Wukong knows he can't beat Lee Sin 101. He obviously can't stealth away. So with knowing that, they knew he'd kind of go for a lane switch. They kind of pushed that aggression in the bot lane, got the turret. We are going to see Rise finally pick up his blue buff here, which should give him a little bit of power, because he's one of those champions that's really, you know, weak early on. You see the Chalice of Harmony done for Lux, and she's only going to get stronger, which gets Anthenes and Holy Grail, gets that, was it 24-second cooldown on her ultimate eventually?
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about earlier, the final spot, which is good damage, and the cooldown is ridiculously low if you've got some CDR in there as well, which is going to happen at some point. But the one point that I wanted to make out earlier is that actually Jims is a substitute for this team. Blitz, who we actually saw in the qualifying team for one event. It was an Intel Extreme Masters, I want to say Katowice, where they actually got really far in the qualifier, and then Blitz had a power outage in his entire town, which stopped them going any further in the tournament. So Giants have had a little bit of unlucky times, I guess we could say, with Blitz, and well, he's not playing here either, but Jim's so far doing a fantastic job for them. They've almost weeded this turret down to 0 as well in the top.
You know, not to mention his 80 cannon. I mean, I don't think anyone expected it to do so well in that game. game. In fact, ended up doing extremely well. Helped them pretty much win the game because of that CC out of Cannon. But in the meantime, you do have, more than, and this is something I've seen, the entire tournament so far, is we haven't seen a lot of ganks come in from junglers because the laning phase ends so quickly.
And I just was watching Wukong there. He just walked across the top of a ward by the Dragon. Lee Sin has done the same in this middle area. And Rise knows he's there. It's right on top of that one. There comes the Ash Arrow, and it misses literally everyone on its way past. And so as trying to put the damage down onto Jims. Can he escape from this one? Ash doesn't really have the mana to be following up there, keeping him slowed the entire time. And he will walk away from that one. But Fnatic again are starting to gather a little bit around this middle area. There was the Rune Prism, which actually hit the minion rather than its intended target of Soaz. And again, they're going to try and put down pressure on this middle outer turret, the final outer turret for Fnatic.
Yeah, it's such a great play to actually group up, force these fights, because Giants can't do anything about these team fights. Wukong, fortunately, not strong enough yet to do much damage. And then you have Olaf, you have Lee Sin to dive in right for Jims, which, he's an Ashe. He only has that flash to really get away. He has Blood Bowl if he can stay sped up enough, but you get hit with one undertow, and it's basically a death on your part. And then Yellowstar, he has that range, that's such long range, it's going to be extremely hard for Samus to get in onto him. And if he does, he still has the ability to kite, he has the cleanse to get away from any sort of slow, and then he has the Lulu ultimate to back that up.
And they've seen now that Ashe is in this top lane, and that may be a bit of a trigger here for them. We can see Olaf coming up from this bottom lane. Creep wave is going to be pushed completely out. The question is, can they finish off this turret? We see that Giants are backing off somewhat, and this turret is going to go down. So Fnatic going to make it 3 turrets for 0. Dragon, of course, hasn't been taken up until now, and this is just the perfect time for them to go down there and have it.
Yeah, especially since Jimbo currently is on top, and Xpeke turn around.
Yeah. He's managed to land his ultimate there on towards Extermin. Yeah, and that's the problem. He can't quite burst anyone fully down. But if you, in this situation, going towards Dragon, you want to take it. If you can get their AP carry down to half HP, they're not going to come near it.
Yeah, exactly. It's very guaranteed on your part. And Fnatic's playing so aggressive. They really want to end this game early, as you can see. They don't want it to, drag on too long with all this aggression and grouping out, pushing all these turrets down. Look at the gold right now. It's basically 3,000, 12 minutes in. And Joe, you always talk about the statistic of, being 10% gold up, 12 minutes in, you win like 90% of the games.
Yeah.
And it's pretty true, and you'll end up seeing why, because Fnatic is so good at snowballing this fight. You do see the top turret going down for Giants, and that's a little bit of a saving grace, but it just might be a little bit too late for them.
Yeah, and Fnatic again, they've got good zoning power here with those traps, with Lux mainly, who can just throw out so much, and so much crowd control and annoyance, general annoyance, wherever the defense is from Giants. Right now, Soaz is actually pushing his bottom lane up as well. In fact, he's going to hide here. Rise is going to come in there. He will show himself just about in time, and we'll probably back away from this one, not really having full vision on where the rest of the Giants team are. Let's have a look quickly down the CS, because we've not really touched done that up until now. 83 to 76, that's a Wukong versus Lee Sin. Obviously Wukong doing well, but still 300 gold down thanks to those turrets, thanks to the kill actually that Lee Sin has got, and that Dragon coming in as well. Jungle, Cyanide got a 10 CS lead, nice lead as well for Lux, 104 to 87. That translates to around about 350 gold in game itself, and the AD carries Ashe doing a great job there as well, 104 to 86. But the Caitlyn does have that kill and has the Bloodthirster already finished.
And one thing that really hurts Giants right now is their wave clearing potential. If you look on their counterparts for Fnatic, you have the Lulu Glue Lance, you have the Piltover Peacemaker, and then you have Lux on top of that to really just take it down with her E, and then you have Olaf Undertow. Giants really have a really hard time to repel any sort of aggression, any sort of siege onto their turrets, and then with the Bloodthirster done for Yellowstar, he takes any chip, obviously just turn around, hit a minion, get back to full health in a matter of seconds, and then continue that siege yet again.
Yellowstar currently pushing this top wave out. We'll see how far he actually ends up going with that one. Let's have a look at the teleport. Yeah, it's actually currently up there as well. along with that Ash Arrow, which you have to keep a real eye on, because that's a perfect initiator in really any scenario, if you can hit it, obviously.
Yeah, and Joe, we always talk about, the Summer Spell teleport. We've seen it so crucial today, working extremely well for many teams, but this game, it hasn't really been that effective, and now that we're out of the laning phase, all the initial outer turrets are down, he's not really going to get too much use out of it unless he goes for the split pushing.
Well, you say that, but Fnatic have ended this lane phase really early on, and that's one thing that they can do against that. When you say it wasn't effective, I kind of argue with that, because that teleport that he did down at the bottom to actually secure them that kill earlier on may or may not obviously keep them in this game, or maybe even propel them to victory. Who knows with that one. From that, they managed to secure blue buff. Yeah, okay, they've lost stuff after that, but the actual idea around that teleport worked out. The fact that Fnatic have taken down the outer turret so quickly in this one just means that, like you said, it's hard to really utilize that teleport to where it really fits into your game plan, which is in the lanes, get in there as the extra man to complete a gank.
Yeah, very true. And not to mention Fnatic right now, they were keeping these lanes super pushed. I mean, if you look on the map throughout the last, 5-10 minutes, it's been blue across the halfway point the entire time. Ashe has been that top lane clearing out the waves, and because of that, which they probably should send Ryze up there just so he can teleport down, they're able to get these 4 or 5-man pushes onto these tier 2 turrets.
Now Fnatic starting to work their way in towards that turret on the bottom lane. You can see Lux just throwing everything out there. They need to be careful though still that Samux doesn't come darting out at them and get that Cyclone going right in the middle of the pack. Yellow Star is quite happy here to be farming. Ash doing exactly the same though on the other side, and that's really what they've got going for them right now. That this Ash, not died up to now, has got a good CS count, and we'll see how that translates into the later game. Wukong actually just finishing up the Black Cleaver there as well. I mean, Ash is supposed to be stronger than Caitlyn mid-game, especially with that blow up on top of it, but you're against a Bloodthirster Caitlyn right off the bat. 1-0, 122 CS, going to have a hard time keeping up in terms of damage. Does have that BF sword, luckily, though, which will help even it out. Looks like we're going for that Infinity's Edge very shortly. And the thing is, I mean, Giants, if they want to win this, they're going to have to either do it in an extremely late game, or going to have to do it pretty much in the next 5 to 10 minutes, where it's a mid-game where, Ryze starts to ramp up, where you see Samux start to be able to get a little bit tanky. Has a Black Cleaver done now to help out with Ash. It's really just up to Giants to... Well, we actually do see an Astro coming in. Yeah, there is the arrow coming in. It's actually going to land on Xpeke, who says, thank you very much, I'll just cleanse that one off. Extermin going fairly low as well. Flash away now from Xpeke. Are we going to see Fnatic just close in on them? And Samux is going to go down. There is a Cyclone. Lulu ultimate comes in. Now Samux could be the one in trouble. He flashes expertly over the walls. Actually, Yellow Star did use a 90 caliber net to follow him over there, but Giants getting away scot-free from that one. And it was a nice little bait out of Caitlyn. Out of Lux. Stood on top of that ward pretty much the entire time, just waiting for it to come in. I'm not too sure it was a bait, though. I think he might have peed himself a little bit when that Astro hit, but luckily had his finger over that cleanse button, was able to escape it, and now a lot of key ultimates are down. The Astro, not too long of an ultimate, is currently gone, and then the Cyclone out of Wukong, which will be such a heavy factor in Giants engaging. But in the meantime, Fnatic actually pushing this mid turret down. Yeah, here we go. Samux just taking a good bit of damage there from the final spark. In the meantime, Yellow Star here down the bottom is going to die. It's Extermin that gets that last bit of damage off, and that will actually put Giants in the lead in kills in this one. We've seen that kills aren't always everything. Turrets is what really counts in this game, as Fnatic are going to take turret number 4, this time in the middle lane. The inner turret going down, and it's bad enough to lose your outer turret in the middle lane, but we're almost 18 minutes in, and they have, they're going to be severely visually impaired from losing that turret. Yeah, that's stuff that Trade Fnatic would take any day. You lose one person in the bottom lane and a turret, but take that second middle turret. Not to mention, a key point is Enraid has been actually stacking GP10, has a Fieldstone, has a Cage's Lucky Pick. So with this second turret gone, you should see so many wards coming out of them. This one's going to that Sightstone, which still in turn gives you a lot of wards. And with Fnatic controlling the enemy jungle, what really can Giants do against that except build an Oracle, which I don't really think Babetta can afford in any sense of that. Well, let's have a quick look down the items then, because we've seen a couple of major pickups in the last couple of minutes. One for Lux there, that Athene's Unholy Grail finished up a little bit earlier on. Just got in for those Home Guard boots as well. Ryze got the Rod of Ages and the Sorcerer's Shoes, of course, plus that tier from that little bit earlier on as well. In the top lane, as I said, that Black Cleaver was finished by Wukong, plus a Brutalizer and the Bootsman ability with a Vamp Scepter here for Lee Sin, as we are going to see the Ash Arrow coming out on towards Yellow Star, and he goes solo, and actually he's just saved there by Lulu right in the nick of things. So has now an a lot of trouble as well. Will try and get away, but Sturmin already had his sights aimed on him and will be able to pick up that kill. And that was a 1-0. Could easily have been a 2-0 if Yellowstar had not saved him. Now it could be more. And look at the damage coming out. Absolutely deleted off the map.
And that's exactly what Giants needed to do. They needed to pick up those 2 kills. You're going to get this dragon off the back of that. And that's all I'm trying to say is, they need to turn it on in this mid-game to really take advantage of how weak Yellowstar will be. Xpeke does some pretty good damage. You've seen, really good, combos off of him, but wasn't able to burst anyone down just of yet. Mixed in with, the key items being done. The Haunting Guys, not necessarily, an end item for Elise, but helps out quite a bit with damage with the percent-wise. And then the Black Cleaver on top. That Rod of Age is done for Rise. And, Giants, they might have looked, kind of sketchy early on, but now they're looking very solid.
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing here from Giants is, not really going up towards those health items, apart from Rise, who's obviously building it. As I say, that Giant spell comes out from Elise, and I have loads of really clever puns line up for Giants and Giants belt, but I'll save you guys at home those ones. I think we've been having enough puns coming out today. I'm sure actually many more will follow throughout this tournament. But yeah, that health starting to come down now for Elise, getting a little bit more tanky. Xpeke here just going to be getting himself slowly but surely that blue buff away. Morden creeping around, typical spider style, in towards this bottom side, actually just wanting to get those wards in position, making sure that they don't get caught out anywhere on the map. It looks like both teams quite happily here to set in, do a little bit more farming, work up towards those next items.
It's a little bit of a low. I mean, both teams not really feeling too confident in these fights at the moment. Want to get a couple more items just to feel that much more secure. But we do have to point out, Rise 3-0-2, leading his team in kills. The spread, honestly, I wouldn't say it's too bad because we kind of bring that up a lot. If you burst Rise instantly, oh, do you see Astro just missing Xpeke though? But if you burst the person down that has all the kills on the enemy team, what damage do they have off, behind that? And by having those 3 on the side, might be one of those things.
Oh, Extermin's hit by the Q of Soas. He will flash away from that one. They burnt it. Yellowstar actually will ulti up towards Rise to really force him to back away from that. Yeah, the Ash Arrow, not sure it was really well timed. Wukong was already well away from the action. Even if that arrow would have hit, I think that Yellowstar would have just said, well, not even going to use my cleanse on that one because there's no one near me right now. But here we go then, kick into the wall. Jimbones could be in a little bit of trouble here. Absolute Zero goes down but not able to do too much damage now. So has the one in trouble. He is popped as well, and that's a 1-for-1. But Samek's coming around the corner here onto Xpeke. He's slowed up, can't quite catch up there to Peke, who flashes away, but Samek's already moving in. That is a nice light binding, but look at the cocoon cleansed away by Xpeke. N-Rated comes in, final spark will come down, but the damage still not high enough, and Giants decide to turn around. They've got Yellowstar and Cyanide off to the side, but Better flashes in to throw a snowball. I'm not sure that was really needed either, but Giants either way will be picking up Soas. They've lost Jimbones for it. Jason, worth it in your opinion?
That's my response to that. I mean, you don't want to see Soas go down anymore. You don't want to feed any more assists that you possibly can to the enemy team. But if anything, it showed Giants and showed Fnatic just how easy it is for them to get on top of Jimbones and just blow him up instantly. We saw, Samek didn't really have a great ultimate. It was pretty much just completely wasted. You see Astro coming in, though.
Yeah, this could be bad. There is a cleanse actually coming out from Yellowstar, which he saved earlier on. There is a final spot. Peke is going to get caught out, and it's a one auto attack there from Jimbones to finish off. N-Rated now going to get caught in by the Rune Prism, and he is also taken down. And Nunu's not finished just yet. He's got Blood Boil on, and he is legging it down towards where they were escaping to, but won't be able to catch up. And again, 2-0 in favour of Giants, bringing them 8-3 up in kills.
Yeah, and Rise looking very... I mean, that's the whole combo. If you can get that Asher to land on any sort of key target, I believe it landed on Yellowstar in that fight, and then you have Rise follow up with that with the cone of Rune Prison, you're going to kill that target because of how much burst you have on their team. They have 4 very heavy damage champions, and then the Nunu, who provides that Blood Bowl to help out. So as though going to get caught on this top lane, do have red buff on Morden.
Oh, he's managed to actually dodge the cocoon there, but will he get away from the damage? Look at that, absolutely not. Soas being caught out, and Giants, as we said, substitute coming in here. Don't think anyone really had them on their betting card, so to speak. That no one really thought if any team's going to come out of this group, it's definitely going to be Giants. I actually asked on Twitter, and not one single person, as far as I'm aware, sorry if you did, but I certainly don't remember seeing one single person that actually said Giants from this group.
Now Xpeke going to be getting caught here, though, by Morden.
Yeah, there's Lulu off to the side, but Lulu can't do anything. And now it's like, Glitterlands, you're on your own now. If you get out of that one, then you've done well. And now Giant's going to look to push their advantage that they've gained with these pickup kills. And let's be honest, they've not been team fights so much. Obviously, the last one is the Ash Arrow comes out again. It's going to land on Swen Rachel. There's a Cocoon Room Prism. You are dead. It's Jim Bones that picks that one up. But they've had a lot of picks from this, which is, kind of what their comp's all about. If that Ash Arrow comes out, you've got the Cocoon, which has got good distance. Rise can flash in there and, follow up with anything with that Room Prison. If you get caught out, a team like this, where the Giants have got, are going to punish you.
Yeah, if you get caught out, you're not escaping this. This is all we can really say about it. And Fnatic's been making... I feel bad saying it, but they've been making a lot of mistakes here. I mean, we saw Soaz on top lane get caught. We saw Enray right there get caught. We saw Xpeke get caught, actually. I wasn't expecting him to go down there. And they're just being dismantled right now because, the gold isn't extremely in favor of Giants, but the kills heavily are. 11-3, and they are starting to even up in turrets. They are catching up. Actually, well, I'm trying to say catching up, but catch up in terms of turrets, which really gives you the map control you want to see if you're trying to push into a team. But, Fnatic, they really have to, take a second, take a breather, and just kind of refocus because you don't want to lose this game. You want to, win it and then move on to the next day.
Well, one thing that we know here, that Yellow Star, he's farming as much as he can. He's going to be getting that bit strong here once he, actually finishes something other than that Bloodthirster. We'll see where he decides to go for as priority next. Lee Sin got that Bloodthirster in there, got the Brutalizer as well. Samux, same level as him. I don't think Samux will be too scared if he comes at him, because at the end of the day, he's got that Cyclone, which he can use to get away from. It's probably going to delay Soaz enough that the rest of the team would even come around and be able to close in, especially with Extermin's teleport not too far away from being completed. But overall, Giants looking very promising. They're about 1,400 gold in the lead. And
they're looking just so tanky overall. I mean, we see the Warmogs done on Wukong. We see a double Rod of Ages yet again coming out of Rise. And then at least you still have the Giants belt. Most likely, it looks like going to be going into a Rylai's Crystal Scepter. They're just really hard to kill because no one on Fnatic has % damage. And that's going to be the key here to get these really beefy champions knocked down.
And this is a perfect time for Giants to try and stamp their mark on the game. Their item difference is really nice at this point. This is, Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, and the Vamp Scepter finish for Ash. Rise has got those double Rod of Ages in there. The tier, he's just filling that up as he goes to work with later. There's a Giant's Belt, plus the Haunting guys over with Elise. You've got the Black Cleaver, you've got the Warmogs in on Wukong as well. So just overall, they're in a great position, if anything kicks off, to be really steamrolling their advantage home.
And not to mention the kill threat they currently have is just bang on perfect. Looking at Fnatic, you have the 2 kills onto Soaz on Lee Sin, but he falls off later as the game goes on, and you have 1 kill on Caitlyn. That's kind of it. I mean, they aren't too far behind in gold, but still, the items are really make differences. And I always try to talk about how, if you get a key item on certain champions, why not force these engages? Because you should be able to win them as long as you play it well.
Well, that's what separates a good team from a great team, knowing when you've got that advantage and knowing how to really push it home as well. As Samux, long range, actually getting hit there by the light binding. Not going to really do too much damage to him, to be honest. Not going to really dent his armor. We've seen Lux picking up that blasting one in there. Really desperately needs some more damage because they're going to be relying on Xpeke to be bursting down.
That's the thing, though. I mean, Lux... Yeah, you're very, very bursty, but how are you supposed to burst down, a Wukong who has sitting on 3,000 life, Joe? You just can't. And the only real target you could hit is Ash, but if he positions well enough, he shouldn't be able to be hit at all, especially when he's Blood Bolt with the Phantom Dancer. He's really hard to lock down with any sort of light binding.
Now we can see the gold differences. Actually, in the top lane, Lee Sin got the advantage. Jungle advantage for Elise. Middle lane advantage for Rise. And now we could see a big problem coming down for Caitlyn, who, well, the Ash Arrow actually missing. I think that was because the exhaust slowed her down a little bit too much. Sorry, that was Lee Sin. I don't even know where I got Caitlyn from that one. Either way, apparently I'm a bit of a blind monk as well. And this tower is going to be going down. And this is, again, just great team play from Giants. They closed in completely on that one.
And right now, with Babetta having 2 pink wards on top of them, they could actually turn this into a Baron if they want to. No vision currently for Fnatic, except that 1 ward just south of Baron, but that really won't be enough, not having Soaz alive. Cyanide's the only really saving grace. If he can actually get the Ghost off with the Smite still, they could be fine. And we know Cyanide is easily capable of this.
Well, it's
too
not
late now.
Yeah, it's not even going to have the chance, and this could be really, really bad for Fnatic. But better not really getting any damage from Absolute Zero, but Samox is going to get in there. He's actually going to decoy through that light bar. Look how low Xpeke goes. In fact, he dies in the end. Now they're moving on towards Yellow Star. Samox not got the mana, actually, to get his ulti, and that was if it was even off cooldown, if I could open my eyes as well. But Giants picking up Baron, pushing in there, and picking up the kills as they go. 13-3 in the lead, and their gold is just getting bigger.
Yeah, two champions with 2,000 gold or more. Ryze and Wukong both picking up some items. You have the Mirror Mana finally done for Ryze. So his, I mean, power. Well, I hate to say this, but his power level clearly over 9,000 right now, Joe. As he's got. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Got so much stronger.
Oh, look at Jim Bones here. He's going up head to head with Soaz, who thought he fancied his chances there, but. Well, he obviously couldn't really do it. There's that Baron buff on Ashe. If we look at his items as well, I mean, Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer. He's going to be able to kite you pretty much all day as he's going to throw the arrow out here on towards Soaz. Can they close in on top of him? The Cocoon not quite got the range as Soaz flashes away. He's going to drop a ward and will escape to it nicely, but still risky play in the middle.
And the thing is that Soaz and Cyanide should be able to kill Jim Bones by themselves. I mean, yeah, he didn't have Cyanide right there, but Lee Sin shouldn't be losing to him to Ashe right now. And with just how far ahead he is, he has a last Whisper completed right now. There's nothing Soaz can do about it. Cyanide even, if you run straight into him, isn't going to be able to survive too well against him as long as he has that Blood Boil on top of him and any sort of outside damage coming in. So just overall, Fnatic not looking too strong anymore. You do have the Robot's Death Cap going to be coming out eventually now for Xpeke, but it's just a little too late. I don't think he can really lock down Jim Bones, as I was mentioning earlier, to really pick him off, because if they do, they still have a Ryze, they still have a Wukong, and still have an Elise in your face.
And we can see here that red buff is actually going to be stolen away there by Giants. And Fnatic backed away from that one. And, well, if there's one team who knows how to make a show in these last couple of weeks, that would be Fnatic after that brilliant play against SK over in the group stages at Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. That was fantastic stuff. And if we see anything half that amazing from Xpeke in the dying stage of this one, then I will be a very, very happy man. But Giants are looking like, I'm going to bring it out finally this weekend, like a very well-oiled machine. They have not really made too many mistakes going forward. They've almost forced Fnatic's mistakes, caught them out 2 or 3 times in places where you just wouldn't expect Fnatic to really be caught out from what we've seen from them in these last couple of months.
And it's only going to get worse because Babetta's sitting on that Oracle right now, clearing out any kind of vision that Fnatic has in their own jungle. As you can see, the wards on the map, they're currently going to be working towards this bottom side of the map. They really want to, keep it warded, keep the aggression there. As you do see, actually, Jim Bones right now switch over to mid lane just really quick, but they have Fnatic out of position. They can't defend this. They have to let that go, and especially when you're against a Baroned up Giants, you pretty much have to let all your outer turrets just go down and hope that you can save your inhibitor turrets.
Here's Mordant from the side, actually will dodge that light binding as the flashy spiders come running out of the jungle. That's not one for the arachnophobes, that's for sure.
I feel bad if you are and watching this tournament.
Right now, Samox pushing down this turret, and the rest of his team will come and join. That is the third and final inner turret taken down as well. 6 turrets to 4 currently. Samox actually does get light binding up there in the end, which, again, not really going to be doing too much damage to him. We finally got that needlessly large rod coming in onto Lux, but is it going to be too little too late?
Yes. Yes, Joe, it really will. I mean, you just don't have the damage to burst anyone down. Ryze completely going to be able to survive this. Like I was saying, Ashe the only one. He can't really get to him to land his entire combo. But one thing I actually really like out of Enready, going for a lock of the Iron Solari, which, during Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, we saw Gambit Gaming actually run dual of those, and it would mitigate so much damage, especially when you're against Samox, who does actually a very high amount of DPS to you with his ultimate.
And if we look down the items once again, Muramana is now finished for Ryze, and actually Elise does have the Leandras in there and looking like could be working up towards the Crystal Scepter as well, but we'll see about that. And they are just sieging down. That's the thing, they've had half a wave to go at that turret, and they've already managed to take half of the HP away from it, and now they're pushing through this middle as well. They've got Nunu and Ashe over the other side, that Blood Boil causing them all kinds of problems. The other 3 pushing down this middle lane as well, and Fnatic split a little bit in terms of where their focus should be on the defense.
And Giants have to be a little careful here. Baron is just gone off of them recently, but they have 3 members sitting on 1,500 gold or more, Joe. Looks like they are going to try to rush this turret down. I still say to be careful because Fnatic, they're an experienced team. I mean, they could be behind, but they can still turn these fights around and still pull out a victory, so you don't want to blow any kind of advantage you have. They still are being very aggressive, trying to keep this pressure on the Fnatic. And still the gold, I mean, even though they're doing this, if they don't get caught, don't lose a team fight, they'll go back with even more gold and just be that much more deadly when they come back to the enemy base.
And this is where we're going to see how confident Giants really are. You know, they're in a position where it's really their move in terms of what comes next, in terms of if they decide to dive in under the tower, tank it up to, you know, do a risky play to get it out of the game. That's where we'll really see their confidence levels from this one. And their ability as well as a team to stick together in those fights and to make those right calls. Because, as you said, one false move against a team like Fnatic, they've worked so hard to get in this position, Giants, it can be thrown away really easy.
Yeah, very true. And I must mention over on Group Cho'Gath is, you know, Giants isn't a new team in any way, but one thing that, you know, teams really have a problem with is closing out the game. Yeah, if you can get the advantage, you know, that's all good and dandy, but if you can't finish the game, if you can't close it out, you know, what's the whole point of that? Though they are looking they're looking like they will be able to do it here. They just picked up a couple of buffs, they went back, they all bought, they have even some pots. We do have the Bloodthirster now done on Jim Bones. I mean, there's really nothing Fnatic can do to even dive against him now, because he can lifesteal any damage that it puts out against him. And we have the Rise Crystal Scepter done on Morden, so even if they land any kind of ability on them, Ash Arrow, you know, any kind of damage from Morden, even Rise with the Rune Prison or Nunu, they're not going to escape.
And right now, we see Giants just pushing out wherever they can, stacking themselves up in this middle lane. There is the Riley's finished for Morden as well. Wukong, Bloodthirster, Warmog's Black Cleaver, dangerous times for anyone that goes up against that monkey. Now, let's see, Lul actually picking up a Giant spell in there as well. So, knowing that they have to get tanky to get through these fights now, Fnatic, the question is, where is the push going to come from? Giants again clearing out this top wave. They had that pushed a little bit earlier on. Ash did a good amount of damage to it, but they can't afford to be caught out. And it looks like they're going to go for a similar little setup here of Ash and Nunu pushing down this top lane. But Baron will be up soon here, and you know, Giants having that last one. They've got the wards down in the. Actually, they don't really have that many wards down inside of the jungle, but for what they've got, they know that Fnatic certainly don't have any vision there. You
know, Joe, I was actually kind of surprised to not see Rise take more advantage of that teleport. You know, during Group C, we saw Rise actually push the top lane, have the rest of the team push the bottom, maximize the distance that the enemy team will have to travel, and through that, if they do get engaged upon, just pop that teleport, and you'll be completely fine. But they do pick up the Baron. This Goldie, Joe, I mean, they're over 10,000 gold ahead, 35 or pretty much 36 minutes in. Is there anything Fnatic can do? I mean, even if they do catch someone, will it be enough?
I think they're going to want to close it out with this Baron, to be honest, Giants. The fact that Samuk's there is, I mean, maybe I'm reading a bit too much into that. He's left one creep behind on the red buff, which usually if you've got control of the jungle and you're confident you've got control of the jungle, you probably take it away so that you know the time of the next time it spawns around.
Very true.
From this point, I don't know, maybe they want to finish it out with this Baron. We have seen Wukong and Elise both going back home there to buy up that little bit more. Actually, a pickaxe being picked up by Wukong, so coming in for that extra bit of damage. And you can see Fnatic, they just have to turtle this one. They just have to hope that they can fall, that they can hold on to what they've currently got in there, and then maybe force something out from that point on.
Well, during Katowice, we did see a similar situation with Fnatic and SK, where Fnatic, you know, was not very far, but was behind pretty much the entire game. But they kept getting a kill or two on the SK, ended up coming back, clawing their way back into the game. It could very well happen here if Giants get, you know, really cocky or somewhat. You know, Morden dodging light binding. It's pretty much all up to Xpeke to set this fight up. If he can land a nice dark binding, the rest of the team can pile on against it. And then again, I mean, just with how tanky Giants are right now, how tall they are, can't really do much against it. That was a bad pun. Damn it. I should just leave it to you.
Here we go. Puns. Giants starting to move in. That creep wave is there. Couple of Caitlyn traps. Actually, Jim Bones taking a good bit of damage there. Caitlyn trying her best to hold this aggression off from Giants, but the waves are actually both going to be destroyed. So this one's certainly not going to be the one that brings Giants home, and they are just going to sit back and wait for the next one. Baron buff is approaching halfway through now, so if they did want to end it with this one, they're going to have to get somewhat of a move on. Extermin just going to be pushing this bottom lane out. Wukong just hanging off towards the side. You can see Caitlyn throwing as many traps down as they can, trying to stop Fnatic. Trying to stop Giants from being able to just waltz on it. Jim Bones is going to get caught here, and there is the ultimate actually coming out. Samux decides he's not going to be able to dodge it, and he's going to go in there. Will ulti in on towards Soaz, and that's not the most effective, but here comes the Ash Arrow. It's going to land in onto Soaz. Can they finish him? Yes, they can. It's Samux that picks that one up, but where do they go from this? Samux is running past all those traps. He's going to decoy, but actually decides to go go back from that one. Are they going to be able to lock him down? He's below half HP. The light binding's not actually connecting, and Giants are hammering away on this inhibitor turret. There it goes. Inhibitor's going to fall as well. 40 seconds until SOAS comes up. They can go straight down on towards this bottom lane. Do exactly the same there.
And that last fight, you just saw, I mean, Fnatic, they needed to make something happen. Fortunately, it didn't work out. And Jim's, actually, he got very low from Lee Sin, and then we saw the Lux ultimate actually hit him, but he hit a couple of Rays, saved his life. But that was the crack that, Giants was waiting for, the crack in the shell to finally break in, because, even with the last Baron they had, all they did was take the outer turrets. They weren't able to push into the base of Fnatic. Oh, we do see Morning. Oh, not getting hit.
Oh, yeah, not actually getting hit with that one. N-rated going low. He's going to get in trouble. Xpeke will surely fall here as well. They've caught it out. Nunu putting down the absolute zero. Cyanide gets himself onto the fountain in time. We've still got Yellow Star. He's going to have to be their saving grace here. That first Nexus turret goes down. SOAS is now back in the game, as well as Giants back away on towards that inhibitor in the bottom. Caitlyn has been dropped. Ultimate comes out of Wukong. They've taken him out. Home Guard Cyanide comes running in. Second Nexus turret is going to go down, and the Nexus itself will fall, and Giants are going to beat Fnatic here in what I would say the biggest upset of today.
I never thought we'd actually be saying that, to be honest, today. Giants beating Fnatic, or Fnatic losing at all. As you do see, a little bit of frustration on Xpeke's face. I mean, you obviously coming